Bill Schneider and I get to do voter analysis, which really is a way to now input with all the data that we'll get from the exit polls right into the CNN computers, and through touchscreen technology be able to sort everything pretty much every which way, by issue, by demographic, by state, by candidate. And so we can break down very quickly when we get new information about who is leading in which state. We'll be able to immediately sort through and figure out the why. We kind of answer the question, well, why is someone winning or losing? We can figure it out with the exit poll data.
Okay, so tell us about how the states are called. How you guys do that?
Well, you know, basically we have this giant political team, and so the political team at CNN will make that call. There's not one sort of individual who decides, like Bill and I will not be calling states. That's not our job here. We do voter analysis. But what's critical for us is that once a state is called, they'll start turning to us, because then we can, through all the different categories that we sort, men, women, African-American men, African-American women, young people, older voters, you name the category, we call them all, we can cover them all. We're able to sort through and say, okay, well, why did McCain take this state or Barack Obama take this state? Why did they win? Why was that message able to get out? Who were the voters who put that person over the top? So to some degree, once a state is called is when our work begins.
What are some of the questions that, I mean, you don't know the results, so it's hard to say what's going to be most interesting, but what are you looking for tonight?
I'm curious to know on the Republican side, John McCain, and how much of the Republican base voted for him. I mean, people who went to the polls, independents, did they vote for John McCain? Obviously, they were fighting over the independent vote. How did they break out? I'd be curious to know about Latinos and which direction Latinos went. I am dying to know about people who've made up their minds in the last 3 days. What was the messaging that worked for them or did not work? That'll be really interesting. Obviously, you look at Pennsylvania, white men, where are they going to go? Men overall, where will they go in that state? Ohio, our independents. I mean, during our, when we would talk to the undecideds, I wanted to grab people by the lapels. Make up your mind. So it'll be interesting to see some of our undecideds who were leaning one way or the other, but truly could not commit, yet 100% said they plan to vote. Where did they go? What did they do? I mean, I got a million interesting questions for the night.
So Soledad, you don't remember, but I met you many years ago at ZDTV in San Francisco,
yes.
in the dawn of the web years.
Can you believe it?
It's amazing. So,
but you know David Borman was the executive in charge there, and he's the executive in charge here. So in fact, you know the hologram technology, right?
Yeah, well, no, I've heard about it. I got to check it out.
It is so cool, but that's what we were doing with Dev Null.
Oh my God.
That's Dev Null, but with a human being.
Yeah,
12 years later.
I remember that.
Same guy.
So tell us, fast forward in terms of digital media, television, multimedia, this election, over this 10 years that you've been covering things, from and the participation of young people too, and older people. This is in a way maybe one of the first real digital elections, perhaps.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think you certainly see it in young people reaching out and using technology. I mean, there is a reason that Barack Obama has a very engaging Facebook page, because he knows he's trying to reach all of these young viewers. And even John McCain has 610,000 friends, more or less, on his page. They get it. The young voters are there, and that those young voters really know how to use technology. So I think that it's been an amazing thing to see the sort of the progress and the process through which people use this technology, and in some ways even just using the internet. I mean, remember way back then, a dozen years ago, when we did the site and we were talking about how to program your computer, and what is HTML, and how do you make a web page, how do you do that exactly? And now what we've seen is kind of an extension of the same thing, like-minded people getting together in order to have conversations, have dialogue, argue about things, and really coalesce around a cause. That's what they've tried to do, and the candidates have certainly glommed onto that idea and are really trying to get involved in that as well. So I'm not sure it's the very first digital election, because I'm not sure what that would define, but there's no question that this is the first time both candidates have fully understood that they need to embrace digital technology, or they're going to lose out on voters.